The games have just begun, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Millionth show. My name is James, joined once again by Henry, and this week we're talking about Saw 4. So let's get into it, Henry. Well, obviously, lots of fucking traps in this one. Lots of
Yeah,
traps.
plenty. This is like Saw galore in this, man.
Yeah, for real, man. Because when I'm watching these, I'm kind of like, now I'm watching it with this for this podcast. I'm like preparing, looking out for certain things, and I'm like, damn, there's so many fucking traps going on here, man. Like, very creative, very interesting.
Yeah,
I
but
really
you'd be
like this
surprised,
one.
man. But yeah, like I realized there's a lot. Gotta give out shout outs, Jigsaw Man, and other and co. These are really creative traps that have been made here. Like you would have thought they'd have run out of ideas by now, but no, they got some good ones going.
Yep. Obviously, this was released in 2007. So this, doing a solid one a year, an annual event. These Saw films at the time. Run on the unrated version, a runtime of 1 hour 36 minutes. Returning director Darren, Darren
Boozman, yeah.
Bousman. So this film, Henry, had a budget of 10 million and a box office of 139 million. So
These
very
guys are
profitable
literally these guys
franchise.
literally found a money printer, man. Like
For real, man. I mean, so far this is Saw 4, right? And so far they've put $25 million into these films, and they've returned like nearly $500 million. Like that's pretty impressive,
yeah,
man.
that's nuts.
That's mental. So
Now compare that with the stock market. Would
yeah,
you
man.
should you have invested in Forex or should you have invested in the Saw production?
Yeah, fuck crypto, man. Just like make a Saw sequel, man. Simple.
Yeah, we'll invest in Sorex for the millionth channel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, for this film, I mean, with all of them, I go into them. Well, apart from sort of the first one, 2 through 4, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of almost. Maybe it's like PTSD from the Batman series we did, but I'm kind of like waiting for a bad film. I'm waiting for one that I don't
Yeah,
enjoy so
yeah, I
much, or
kind of
one
get.
that's going to be like, this wasn't so good. I can criticize this and that. But really, they're all very enjoyable in their own way, even though
Yeah,
they're not the same, but they have the same themes, the same elements, the same tropes. They're getting very much into a particular style, and they know what buttons to press that please the fans. But as well, they all have they're all very defined on their own, like, and when I watch them, because when you think about them, it can be sometimes quite easy to blend them up and they all become like one really long film, which is a credit to the continuity, to be fair in them. But obviously, what you have as well is the fact that, like I said, they're all distinct, and then they're all like another chapter of another revelation. Do you know what I mean? Whether it be of Jigsaw or of
yeah.
his wife or Hoffman, whatever. There's a lot of things going on here. So I think I don't know if there's so much preview we can give this, or if we should just go in and get
Let's
into the
just
plot.
jump right into it. Yeah,
Well, we open with the autopsy scene.
yeah, man. This is like if the last surgery wasn't grim enough, they just had to go like the full Monty on this one.
Yeah,
Oh, it's like
this
not
is
the
this is
last episode.
this
We'll
is
cut a bit of his brain out, cut the whole thing.
yeah, fucking rip his scalp off and shit, man. Very impressive
Oh
shit.
man,
I've got to say, I mean, this is
yeah.
like
I was like,
the reason why this is uncut and it's so graphic is because they just argued, well, this could be in any medical documentary on daytime TV. So, can we please have it in our film? And they did. So,
yeah,
medically
yeah.
accurate. So why not?
Yeah, I would also like to have a quick shout to the cop confidence from John Kramer, even in death here. You know,
Unnecessary. I didn't need to see an old man's fucking ball sack, but because they did the first couple of the first couple of angles they like didn't show it, and I was like, oh, good, because it starts off really like the first shot I think is really low down on his crotch. It's like literally going into that V like area, but the frame just stops where the actual knob would start to reveal itself. So it starts from there and then it pans up to like his shoulders and shit. So you're like, okay, they've
this will be
warned
fun.
us, but if they're going to do that, I mean, but then the next frame it does the same thing. It starts from like the belly and then moves up, and then you just get one from like his feet, and it's in basically full view. So you're like, well,
Yeah, full
might as
view
well just open it
center on the
as a
camera.
open with a close up on his fucking knob, and then go from there. Do you know what I mean? So I think they tried to let
I
us
mean,
down gently there, but I was just like, and then they just put a cloth on it anyway. It's just like, what was the point?
yeah, exactly.
Like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Although the thing is that I thought that with the scene, it's like, okay, some of this might be medically accurate or whatever, but is it really standard procedure to first like source like someone's scalp out, take their brain out, then like just cut them open, like open them like they're like a like a, I don't know, in a butcher shop, It's
Well,
like,
I guess I don't know. It's an autopsy, so although I do wonder, I was like, they go straight for the stomach, like they knew there was going to be
yeah,
something in there. So
exactly.
that was a little bit, but I was like, okay, you got to
Or
allow
maybe
them
they're
to be
looking at what he ate last, maybe.
Yeah, I wonder
See see what
yeah,
sort of dietary thing.
the jigsaw diet, man.
Yeah, the
Um,
jigsaw, yeah, so they can add to his
daily
like book.
gains,
They can add to the books, like what's the jigsaw diet secret? Like, oh well, he lasted a pot noodle, so I assume he had those all the time.
Yeah, John Kramer's daily gains, man.
Yeah,
Never
exactly.
know. Well,
Yeah, brain health.
anyway, yeah. And it's interesting again because so far I think pretty much as far as I remember, every film opens with a trap,
Yeah, you're
right?
right.
So far,
I
and
think so.
then this one, and this is something I noticed.
It is a
For
trap.
some reason, and this is the most obvious thing ever, but I didn't it didn't dawn on me until this one, where I'm like, is there a saw, like an actual saw in every single Saw film?
Oh
That
yeah, probably.
that's such an obvious thing, but then I'm like, hang on a minute. I've been a fan of this franchise for 10 years, and I'm just realizing, like, yeah, is there a saw in every film? Because in the first one you have the hacksaws, obviously. The
Yeah,
second one, I was trying to think where the saws are in the second one,
yeah, that's a good
in the
question.
house.
Maybe he's just got some hang on his wall.
No, but they're all incorporated into like the plot somehow. And Saw 3, he obviously gets killed with a chainsaw, and number 4, he gets his head cut off with a saw, or whatever, like a
Yeah, a lot
skull.
of sawing.
I am sure there was, but I'm trying to think where the saw was
Well,
in
you
Saw
know
2.
what? At some point, maybe even
And I know there's a
sort
saw
of,
in
I
Saw
wonder if someone's
5
got
and
like
blah
a
blah blah.
compilation of source.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think now in Saw fucking 2. I'm like just quickly trying to think of the traps. No, oh, I don't know, man. Maybe one of the flashbacks there must have been. I need to go back and check that. But anyway, um, so anyway, back to this fucking autopsy, man.
Yeah,
Fucking grim,
yeah.
man.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to the fact they gave us a little like a snack time flashback for John Kramer, just like covering this thing and just eating it.
Oh yeah, that's right, that's right. And I got to shout out the like the color coordination, right? Because they just desaturate the entire fucking the whole scene. Just desaturated apart from
Yeah,
like the very vibrant red. It's almost like some Sin City shit. So that's like I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. But it's
yeah,
not enough so that it's like literally just grey, black and white. There's just a bit of color, but at the end of the day, this is in a morgue and everything. And it just unsettles you just that little extra bit. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah. Anyway, so they go inside his stomach and they find the tape, like I said. And I mean, John Kramer, man, that's pretty. If he did this in fucking 2022, man, he could just done a little USB, like a little memory stick or something like that.
yeah,
Or even small. You get those nano ones. That'd have probably been a bit easier to swallow. But
yeah.
anyway,
It's good for old cassette tape.
yeah. Lucky it wasn't a VHS tape or something, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, he so they're like, oh fuck, oh, cool homicide, man, and then
Cool detective.
none
Yeah,
other than Mark Hoffman strolls in. He's back, and he plays the tape, and it's like, oh, you think this is over because I'm dead? The game's just begun.
yeah,
Basically, I mean, he says a little bit more, but
yeah.
anyway,
He elaborates a bit.
remember that recording, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll come back to it at the end, maybe.
Perhaps.
Now we do open up with a trap. Okay, so we get that, and then we get fucking. Okay, so this is like I'm not sure what this trap is called because it's a bit of a strange one to me, but I've written it down as the blind slash mute trap.
Yeah,
So you've got the guy from Breaking Bad, right?
yeah. We got what was his bloody name?
I've never seen
I
Breaking
think
Bad,
it's
but
a bit
Henry's
tough.
like the #1 fan, so.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm like embarrassed I forgot his name, but he plays Declan in Breaking Bad, you know,
Well, I
in the
can tell
final
you he
fight.
plays a guy called Art Blank in this one, but I don't know what the actor's
No
name.
way.
Yeah.
I literally I looked it up like just now, but I have forgot already. So
Well, I'm sure it'll come back to you.
feel free to
So,
look up the actor.
so anyway, yeah, he's got his mouth stitched up, and then the bloke opposite him has his eyes stitched up. Um, and they're basically chained up to this like motor in the middle, which is like reeling them in. I wasn't
Yeah.
quite sure exactly how this was meant to kill them. Was it meant to decapitate them with their blades on the bit where they'd be pulled into some fucking blades? I wasn't too sure on that one. Did you?
It would have just like I don't know, probably crushed them or some shit. I don't know by pulling the chains hard enough.
Yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know. I was a little bit confused by that track, to be honest. I always have
the,
been. I'm like,
the
what
real
is the
thing that
exact method of? I mean, and that wouldn't have been hard to remedy. Put some fucking spikes in the front, or something that's like, I don't know, like obviously going to kill you. Otherwise, yeah, I guess it would just pull in your neck until your like neck breaks or whatever.
yeah, until you get
Whatever.
severe neck pain. Yeah,
Asphyxiation, yeah, man.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, the thing that kind of pissed me off, right, is that they got like little actors or
yeah,
whatever
little
throwing shit at
weapons
each
around.
other. If I was the guy, man, like
Which guy?
if I was Art, you know,
Yeah.
Art, fucking blank, or whatever, I would just use that like to try and like see if I could chop at the string on my mouth because obviously he can't
Oh
speak, the other
yeah,
guy can't see. Like, oh, I don't know,
yeah. You're right. I
or
never thought of that.
I don't know, but you know, the guy maybe they just don't think straight. I don't know, but
Yeah, true,
fucking
true. Yeah, it's hard to think.
personally,
I've
if I
never
was the
thought that, and
Jigsaw
I
trap,
don't
I
think
would
I
do
even saw that on the that channel I told you about where he like breaks down every saw trap. Hey, this guy. I don't think even he picks up on that one. So fair play to you, Henry. I can tell you'd have got
thanks.
out of that one with your mouth,
Yeah,
with your
100%.
lips intact.
That would have been easy to negotiate with a blind man, you know.
Would you in this trap? I mean, regardless of the outcome, like I'm just saying, like you wake up in the trap. Would you rather be the guy with his mouth stitched up or his eyes?
Mouth stitched up at least. If I
Yeah.
got my eyes stitched up, I'd literally kill myself. But the mouth stitched up, you know, you can work with that. You
Yeah, you're
can.
right. Yeah,
I
that
could
is correct.
like at best, because you know, there's only so like tight you can do like that. I guess. Like even if I couldn't like properly, you know, if even if I couldn't cut the strings or whatever, like you can open your mouth like at least a little bit enough to like communicate, like instead of just go like probably
I
manage it.
guess. Yeah.
Because
Well, I
literally by
mean.
the end of it, he screams anyway, you know. So
I was gonna like wait it gets that. Oh, that's fucking disgusting,
yeah,
isn't it, man? That shot. Oh, he like
yeah,
rips the fucking. Oh, it's disgusting, man. I think just that alone is one of the most disgusting like
it's a good
gore
opening
kind
though.
of moments in the whole franchise. Like when he fucking, he's like scream. But it's funny because that's not even a scream of pain. It's just like of like the real, almost like relief of surviving the trap as well because he's just killed the guy very
Yeah,
fucking violently, and then like unlocked himself, and he's like and then fucking it's fucked up, man. So yeah, we're like right back into it. That Saw 4 opens like fucking belter, man. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the
yeah, it
trap
does. Like
itself is a little bit. It's not the best trap I got to say. Like in terms of, it doesn't really appeal to me that much. If that's the word
doesn't
I
appeal
use.
to your psychopathic
Yeah, I
senses.
want to see something fucking, yeah. I don't
You
know,
see
but like
limbs being ripped off, you know.
in terms of like just visual fucking disgust, I think already you're like really like you're like you wouldn't want to have eaten directly before this meal, man. This
Yeah,
film.
yeah. Well, I was actually having my dinner while watching this, so you know.
You're built different, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, then
Get a
okay,
SWAT
so
raid.
sorry.
You get a SWAT raid, don't you?
Right, yeah, we get another SWAT raid.
Another one. No shin breaker this time though.
Not this time, but they find Kerry's they find Kerry's corpse
Oh, can I
from
give a
the
quick shout out though to their little remote rover they got though to find it? That thing looks
yeah.
really fucking cool. I just want to say like whatever budget they got for this, like probably spent a good amount on just making that little diffusal rover or whatever.
Yeah, man. Well, and do you know what I like? Obviously once again I watched the actually not the behind the scenes. I watched Darren's Diary, I think, which is like the
Darren's Diary, right?
yeah, that's like the special thing that they have for each of these films. Or obviously the director, so he has like a vlog, and I think for this one that was the behind the scenes thing. So I was like watching him like da da da, and yeah, they and I really like just seeing his directing, his vision, where he's just like yeah, the fucking robot is gonna like just pan up and then it reveals like her fucking face, man, and it's like oh,
Yeah.
and yeah, man, it does create that fucking tension and shit, and then like obviously I've seen this film a few times now, so I'm like, oh, I know what's happening. But then the first time you're like, oh fuck. And what's his name? Rig. He's like, no man. So he breaks through.
An
What's the term?
unsecured door.
Unsecured door. Yeah, you
Yeah,
should never
remember
go
that
through an
one for later,
unsecured door.
fellas.
Yeah, you know that. Never go through an unsecured door.
Yeah,
Remember that
especially
one.
not in this place.
Right. And
And I
obviously,
like I
yeah.
just you got
Go on.
Hoffman there, which I just put down as like Hoffman is in permanent Sigma mode. Like he's always pulling the same face, like where he's
Yeah.
just like kind of doesn't care.
I love Hoffman, man. I mean, John Kramer. He's like the fucking obviously the iconic like daddy of the franchise, man. But Mark Hoffman. He is like I say, he is a Sigma male. A dark Sigma, I would add as well. And I really enjoy his character's really interesting for me, and just the journey he goes through from Saw 3 when he's first introduced to. Well, I'm not going to spoil the future films for
Yeah,
anyone that
exactly.
hasn't.
Well, does he die in this one? Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't even know that, but I really
Well, we
enjoyed the
do know that we just
journey,
saw it.
seeing the journey goes through his character development and shit. Very interesting, very good acting as well. From his name is Costas. He's got a name that I've struggled to pronounce. It's Costas something, but he's actually let me find it. Let me pay some respect to this guy, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Costas Mandylor. Yeah, and the guy you're looking for, Henry, Art Blank, is played by Luis Ferreira.
Yeah, Louis Ferraro, that
There
was
you
it.
go. So anyway, so Hoffman shows up and he gives Rig a little bit of bit of but they're okay. You can see they're kind of buddies. They're all right. But then you get these fucking pair of big bollocks from the
The
FBI.
FBI.
Yeah, man. The FBI shot Perez and Strom. So
Yeah.
this
I
Strom
remember.
guy, man, I don't know where they got him from. He looks like the biggest villain of all time,
Yeah,
doesn't
I know. The
he?
funny
He's got
thing
the
is,
most
like,
evil fucking face. Not evil, not like it's not like ugly or anything, but he's like his expression, the ways that he's always fucking snarling and like
yeah,
yeah.
like I'm not joking. When I saw it this time, I was like, he looks a little bit like Timothy
I
Dalton to
knew you
me.
were gonna
But
say that, man. Yeah, he's
and
like
yeah, exactly. But that means
Timothy
that you
Dalton on a
noticed the
bad day.
similarity too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, well, and you've obviously got, yeah, and he's got you got Perez as well with him. They obviously see the graffiti on the wall, the message "Cherish your life." That's where the first time we see it. I thought it'd be earlier in the series, but I guess this is the first time we see it.
Yeah. But I
Cherish your
think he does say it quite a few times.
Yeah, I like it though, and obviously it has a bit of meaning, which we'll come to later. Um, and anyway, so Rig's fucking he's gutted because he's seen Kerry dead there, and obviously Eric Matthews has been missing for 6 months as well, presumed dead, but he
Yeah.
might not be.
This is taking place in the police station as well. Like
Right,
he's
right,
doing
right.
his
Yes.
overtime, yeah. And may I give a shout out as well to like he's going through all these like jigsaw like books that have been published, man. And
Yeah. Yeah.
John Kramer looks fucking he's bawling on those covers, man.
Yeah, man.
Like it's just the
Seeing
straight up
programs
always
from
like
Time magazine and shit, man. Like GQ and shit, man. Calvin
yeah,
Klein
exactly.
model. He's doing everything, man. Top Gear magazine.
Yeah, exactly. Even though he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
man.
could probably find him in like the Beano or whatever, even.
He's clearly, yeah, very, photogenic, sexy older man. Like what can you say? Clearly magazine cover material. For his revolutionary work in the steel mill industry.
Yeah, of
Anyway.
course.
Um, yeah, Riggs obviously got all his material. He's watching this interview with Jill. Um, these yeah, Hoffman's there as well a little bit. Fucking yeah, these FBI guys, man, they're like, I mean, Perez seems like she's okay, but like Strum's a right cunt, he's fucking going around there
Yeah.
like he hates everyone, man. Like Unfortunately, we don't really get any character development with him. But I would like he'd be a character that'd be quite interesting. I'm sure would have been an interesting way to
Yeah.
explore. But anyway,
Yeah, may I also say as well in this, like the way you notice quite a few things when it comes to Hoffman, like because beforehand in the previous scene they were talking about like, oh well, Jigsaw and Amanda couldn't have
yeah,
hoisted Carrie up with
must have had an
themselves.
accomplice.
They
Yeah,
obviously needed some brawn, and then Hoffman's like, interesting. And
yeah,
like during this scene, he's like low key being Jigsaw, where he's like instead of, he says to like Rig essentially,
Thompson.
cherish your life. I mean, cherish your wife, of course. She needs you, right? Right? Um,
He's just Thompson.
and
Go.
he's just like, yeah, man, I'm just walking. But
Yeah, I like Hoffman, man. He has some like good. He's like, oh man, I actually like, yeah. He's just like, yeah, time to let go. He's like saying all this shit, and the first time watching it, you're like, okay. I mean, Hoffman obviously has some kind of like bit of sinister vibes about him. He doesn't look like an archetype hero at all. You can tell this guy. He can easily be. He knows more than he lets on,
yeah,
but he is like a low key kind of guy, and he's just like, yeah, people just probably his colleagues and stuff, just like, yeah, he's whatever, like, interesting though. Anyway,
yeah. Although he
um,
does like he's a bit of a he's a bit of a snake. He like stows like the seeds of suspicion by saying, oh, well, everyone around him just keeps dying.
yeah,
Can't not saying anything, but
yeah,
to like
um,
Strom, who immediately thinks, yeah, this guy's definitely onto something.
yeah, yeah. And then yeah, Strum is fucking thick as two short planks, man. Do you know what I mean? He's not clocking on top. Although I think he is, but it's hard to tell with Hoffman. I mean, with Strum, because he
Yeah.
looks like he hates everyone, so it's like, you know. But well,
Yeah.
whatever. So anyway, yeah, Rick goes home, and his wife is like on her way out the door, basically.
Yeah, I feel bad
And
for her, honestly. Like,
sorry.
I feel bad for her, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's better
Yeah,
just
I
to
mean,
work.
she's married to like an obsessed cop, but I think they try and give a little bit of backstory, a little bit of character development. They don't give us too much, which I always appreciate these films. They don't overdo it, but
Mm.
I think they could have just made it. I think they didn't want to go down like the route of the beginning of Saw 3, where it's like, yeah, I want a divorce. Da, 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 da. They didn't want to copy that. So she's just like, yeah, I'm going to look after my mum. Come with me. Da, da, da. So she's like, she's nice. She's a nice
Yeah, it
wifey.
says,
And
yeah,
yeah,
she does say you can't save everyone. Again,
yeah, that's
important.
right. That's right.
I mean, I thought this was a really good scene. It's like really impactful and emotional, which is something you don't really see in Saw.
Yeah. So then yeah, she leaves, and then basically, Rig goes to sleep, shows off his fucking abs and all that shit. First of all,
Yeah, may I say as
he's
well.
he's ripped, man. He's got fucking cum gutter and everything, man. Like he's fucking shredded, mate.
Yeah, may I
And
say as well, also in the
yeah,
interval between us, because it's like it's in Riggs' home, then for a brief bit, it's back at the station, and then it's back to Riggs' home, but in the dark this time.
okay,
Um,
yeah.
they cover the fact that John Cromer owned a company, so he
Oh,
not only is he a Silver Sigma, he's also a businessman as well,
yeah, he's
which only
self-made.
adds to that.
That's right, yeah, man.
Self-made. I don't know how
It's
much money he's got, but he must have quite a lot to be able to afford his hobby.
Yeah, we need to like sit down and work out John Kramer's net worth, man. Do you know what I mean? Like Forbes top 10.
Yeah, he's probably got like all his money stashed away in like the Cayman Islands or something.
Yeah, probably, man. He just uses these warehouses as like money laundering, like whatever. So
He
anyway,
probably, he probably makes money from like live streaming into like red rooms and shit.
probably yeah,
Dark web streaming.
yeah. He's got cameras set up everywhere, so no reason why he couldn't live stream some of that into like the deep web. Fucking why not, man? Because I do want. I mean, now I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent, but I've often wondered like how does John? This is like kind of a plot hole within the whole like franchise where how does John Kramer know about fucking the guy who Jeff from Saw 3, right? How does he know about like he's neglecting his daughter, about his wife? How does he know about any of that beyond something he might have read in a newspaper about his son being killed? That's it. So, but then like John must have gone and like I don't know, like snooped on him like binoculars, and then decides to build this whole trap, and then he like finds down the witness and the fucking charge and stuff, man. Like and takes the toys and everything, like or Eric Matthews. How does he know about? Okay, yeah, he knows that he framed a lot of people. Okay, Eric Matthews is a little bit more of a cut and dry one, but anyway, and then you've got
Jeff,
the wax.
maybe
I think back to the wax trap guy or the razor wire guy from
yeah.
Saw
How do
One.
you find out the guy's putting sickies at work? Did you? Uh,
Maybe he was just John Kramer's employee. Who knows? But
yeah. Well, what you? Maybe I think with Jeff, maybe he just had like a like an Adam type just snooping around, like he'd done it before. So, well, then
yeah,
he got.
Adam as well. How did you know about Adam? You know, like I don't know. These are little things where I do go at Jigsaw and I'm like, okay, this is. But because the reason I say that because I mean, okay, I'm gonna like spoil future. Not spoil it, but like if you want to skip forward a little bit, then feel free to. But like in future ones as well, like you get John Kramer. He's punishing people that he has had direct interaction with and involvement with, and then he puts them through tests. So that's very believable because it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
I can, this is these are people that he's met and interacted with, and so that makes sense, along his daily life, and he's decided to put them through a test.
Yeah, like
These
interacting with
random
doctors.
people like fucking Jeff and Amanda, how did he know about fucking she's a junkie, like, or whatever? Like, I mean,
Yeah, so he just finds like any random druggie like on the street.
yeah, like do you want some fucking LSD? Come in the back of my van. Oh wait, you wake up in a saw trap. Great. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, actually, come to think of it, maybe he employed Amanda to get all those syringes, like just to pick him up off the street for the that trap.
possibly.
Maybe
Anyway,
he might have recruited a whole squad of druggies.
very possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
John Kramer is down with the kids, as we'll see again.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
yeah, literally. I
But
mean, yeah, because
anyway,
this goes back to Riggs's home, right, in the horror
yeah,
setting. But I don't know if you noticed this as well. For me, I thought like the lighting was a bit off in this because it's like there are still quite a few lights on. It feels like you're looking at a guy who's like wandering around like the set for a Gillette ad, like after everyone's gone, at
yeah, I
like night.
guess. Um, yeah. So he goes he has a kip and then he wakes up again. Um, no, sorry. So Rig and Hoffman get kidnapped, right? Well, Rig does, and then Hoffman he's like there, and there's like a pig mask behind him. So they both like and then yeah, Rig wakes up in his apartment. So I guess when he was knocked out cold, like then everything was set up around him because he got all these like, clear sheets and fucking. There's a whole saw trap in his house going on. So that must
Yeah,
have been done pretty quickly, man. Do you know what I mean? There must have been a van outside,
yeah,
and they just pull out all this shit, and then they pull out the girl as well, and then like set it all up. I don't know, man. But
yeah.
anyway,
Jigsaw must have been like renting the house next door or something, like
yeah,
just to be like
fuck
just
knows, man.
waiting
That's
on.
like very, very like quick and like convenient, man. Although we don't know how long Rig was out for, but even like 24 hours, that's really pushing it. But you never know.
No, you never know.
Kramer
Like
is a
maybe
patient handler.
Jigsaw might be a bit like Santa Claus. He's got all his elves like that you never see working for him.
Well, yeah. So Hoffman. So yeah. So then yeah, fucking Rig wakes up and then he sees a tape that reveals that Eric Matthews is still alive.
Yeah,
So
that was pretty nuts. To be fair, I would
mental,
have thought
man.
he'd have died at the
Did
end
you
of so.
forget about that? Like, did you rewatch it? And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, because the way that I saw it, because they never killed him in the previous one because it was just him just shit talking Amanda while she was like bloodied and going away. But then she turns around and is like
Yeah.
podding, and I would have thought she'd have gone back and just killed him, and I assumed that. But no, he's still alive somehow. They just decided to keep feeding him whatever, like fucked up katsu curry in prison or whatever.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I mean, we'll skip ahead a little bit and then we'll get on to the next track. But
Yeah.
no, no, actually, we will go on to this trap because let's get it in order. So then we
Yeah.
get a trap, which I think is a very underrated trap when it comes to like the worst saw trap conversations. Um, fucking Rig goes into the room and he sees the hair trap, right? So there's like
Yeah.
this. What is she? She's a prostitute, I think, right? Or what's
Maybe
her conviction? She's
they can't keep using druggies.
No, I think she's a
Oh,
prostitute, but I'm not sure. She's doing something dodgy. I can't remember now.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
That's probably like
certainly,
how Jigsaw is with half these people.
yeah, certainly not none, you know. Well, anyway, they wake up and she's basically under. Okay, no, first and foremost, she's wearing a pig mask on this chair. So then he approaches her and he's like shitting himself, and then it turns out she's fucking, you know, in this trap. Um, so she's like tied to a fucking steel chair, and her ponytail is going through this ring, like this loop on the back of the chair, and it's like wound up to these gears basically, right? And then fucking obviously starts turning and like pulling her hair back, fucking starts ripping her scalp off. Fucking
Yeah, man.
disgusting, man. I think of all the traps, I mean obviously the rat trap's number one for me always, but I think this
This
would
is really
probably be in
bad.
my top three.
Yeah,
It's
because
really
like,
bad, man.
oh, well, to be fair, if you don't have long enough hair, what's he gonna do?
But yeah, of course. But
Well,
I'm just
imagine if you got fucking Rapunzel in this trap, man, and it just like take an hour or something.
yeah, man. Yeah. I think a saw trap. I mean, for saw traps that I wouldn't want to be in. Obviously, yeah, I would. I would have to have long hair. But if you had long enough hair, man, this is not a good
Yeah,
trap to be in,
nightmare
man.
material. The thing
Oh,
is, though,
fucking, because it's disgusting. They did really good fucking effects
yeah,
in
they
terms
did
of
it
like
well.
the fucking like scalp ripping up and fucking squirting blood out and shit, man. Oh, it's
Oh
disgusting.
man. Yeah, and
And
the
yeah.
thing is, though, he does like, he's obviously trying to free her. He's looking through every drawer possible except the one which is important for her. Um, and like, he finds like notes and shit. But then at some point he tries shooting the machine, right?
Mhm.
But like hear me out, right? What if he just like shot like the hair kind of, if that makes sense?
Yeah, there's a lot
Could
of
you have done
obvious
that?
ways out of this. He can shoot the hair. He can use his own gun to jam the gears. Like that's what I would do. I'd
I
use
would have just
something
shot
to
the hair.
just jam
I'm
the
not
gears.
not sacrificing my strap.
Yeah, fair enough. But even like a boot or a shoe, or something like that, just jam something in those gears. Even a fucking coin would probably do it. And
No,
then
probably not that.
maybe I don't know. I mean, he shoots it and that slows it down, but then it
It
comes right
starts
back.
again.
Yeah. So basically, he lets anyway.
It's
He
not.
has to find these numbers on like each gear, which is like
Yeah,
yeah, whatever. And then that
yeah,
lets him out.
and I will say as well, in the midst of this, right? This is something I failed to mention all the previous times. It saw fucking the series. It loves its like crazy transitions, man. Literally in the middle of this scene, it transitions to something else. I think it's
I know what it
something.
is. Yeah, because
Yeah, it's a flashback or something,
yeah. It's because
or
she
it's always a
she
flashback.
gets up and she tries to stab him. And yeah, she's trying to fight. So yeah, he's like, oh, stay there, because she falls down, right? And then she fucking finds the knife, like a massive, like fucking kitchen knife, and then tries to stab him and shit, and then he obviously takes her down and fucking knocks her out. Which is weird. And then he sees the tape that she was given, like, oh, and an officer's gonna save you, da da da.
And you gotta
Bit,
kill him.
yeah, a bit confusing to be honest with you, because it's like, well, of course, he's going to try and save her. I think, like, and I know that he's trying to teach him a lesson of like, oh, you shouldn't, but like, of course, who wouldn't? Like, I'm not being funny, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
It's a bit.
Like even if
But
it's like the person I dislike the most, I wouldn't like just let them, get killed like that. It's like
yeah, man.
horrific.
And yeah, they do a very clever transition, and they do it all practically, and they do it a lot. Like you see it in the behind the scenes stuff. They'll have like the sets literally next to each other without a wall or like a retractable wall. So they have like a bedroom next to a hospital or a hospital next to a police station, whatever. So then they'll literally like shoot it, and then like someone will come behind them, and then it's just into the next set. The camera just literally does that.
Yeah, man,
It's
they're
so
they're
fucking clever, man.
they are so good. Like literally, it's like these transitions are getting out of hand because it's like, yeah, it pans over to John Kramer. Is it like it's a flashback? I can't remember. I
I
think that's
think
the case.
no. I think this particular one, she falls through a mirror or a window or some kind of
Yeah,
plate of glass or whatever, and then it comes into like a door opening or something like that. It's like it's very good.
yeah,
Um. Anyway, so then Hoffman wakes up. He's bound and gagged to a chair. Looks over and there's none other than Eric fucking Matthews next to him. and he
Yeah,
looks
he's in
like
like
shit,
full
man.
castaway mode, you know.
Yeah, he is, man. He's got his fucking beard and long hair and shit, man, hiding that hairline, you know. And yeah, and then we get his. I think this is where we get, yeah, his flashback. So we actually see what happened to him, because it's
Yeah,
very clever. Because in Saw 3, you just kind of, and in Saw 2, you assume, okay, he's fucking brown
yeah,
bread.
he's
You know what I
dead.
mean?
Yeah,
And then Saw 3, you do the same again because yeah, he's shouting, he's like taunting Amanda. She turns around and you think, okay, he's fucking finished. And then and then it's like no, and then it gives you a full fucking flashback to what happened. So Kramer found him, fucking put him in a cell, put his fixed his foot, let's say,
yeah,
and Cronin's like Cronin's joining us here. Um, they fucking yeah, and he gets his foot, and he's like, man, and this is where I'm like, okay, John Kramer, I'm not with you anymore, man. I'm not on your side on this one, man, because like this guy, man, what's his crime? Eric Matthews is just a deadbeat dad, man. You know, like although actually no, he did frame a bunch of people for like their crimes, so yeah, that's pretty bad.
yeah. But this is the thing. Like, surely by now
But
he's
you
kind
know,
of
this
actually
is
he hasn't
like
been in a trap so far.
this is
Right.
really bad. This is like fucking James Bond in Die Another Day, like North Korea level
Yeah,
fucking,
that's what he looks like. Yeah,
and it
exactly. That's
like
what I meant.
that's for 6 months. I
And
mean,
then you
fuck
had to
me,
put him
man.
through a trap. Like, really?
Yeah, all that just for him to be like hung from a chair. Man, he tries to kill himself a couple of times. Don't fucking blame him, man. Like, you know, I mean, he later gets handed a gun. I'd have just blown my brains out there and then, man. Do you know what I mean? You
Yeah, yeah,
know, he's been effectively through three, well, not three traps, but he's been through the fucking works, man. And it's not really fair on him because like, you know, all the lessons I think he was meant to have been taught in terms of, you know, your family or your fucking whatever, like your this and that, your temper and stuff.
your
All those
job. Yeah,
all those messages that John Crane was trying to teach him, and then he fucking passes them because he does escape from the foot thing in the bathroom, right? He breaks his own foot and then like walks up, and then like Amanda fucks him up, and then yeah, man. Then John Kramer like just keeps him alive for 6 months. It's like what the fuck, man. I know this guy was like not a saint, but he goes through the. I think of all, anyone in these Saw films, he has he has the most raw deal, man. Not in terms of being an innocent man, but like I feel
yeah.
I
For
actually
you know,
start
bang
feeling
your
for him. I'm
buck.
just like not like 6 months. Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, for like crime to punishment ratio, it's like not very good.
Yeah, man. Although fair play because obviously Donnie Wahlberg, he was up, you know, and he's done it. He did well. He's like plays a part in 3 films, and each time it's well, I mean, the second and third time it's a surprise, and you're like, oh shit, he's still alive, and then like you, so I respect that, you know,
Mhm.
recurring kind of theme, and he's very good in it, you know, in all of them. His
Yeah, brings
character,
his A game every time, you know.
yeah. Although unfortunately, no, the second one maybe not, but like in this one, he has he doesn't have basically any dialogue really, unfortunately.
Yeah, all he has to do is just to say, "Oh, fuck you, who are you? I'm
Yeah.
gonna kill myself." That's it.
Yeah, man. So anyway,
Yeah, who's coming through that door?
yeah, exactly. So anyway, then we go to Strom. He goes to Riggs'
Peak
flat.
stop.
You know, he's like checking that shit out. He finds the hair trap girl, and then he sees what is it written on the wall in this one? See, oh yeah. So in each of
Yeah,
them,
see
it's
what
like
I see.
see what I see, right? In this one, I think. See what I see.
Think so.
See what I see. Um, and he's like, yeah, what does he see? So then he goes to, he sees a picture of Jill Tuck, whatever, man. So he goes,
Yeah, there's like a
fucking,
million pictures on the wall. Like,
yeah. He
all of this
goes
doesn't
to her,
belong. Picks up the.
he goes to a place of work, fucking, you know, all but kicks the door down, interrogating
Yeah,
her.
yet another nurse.
Yeah.
Love that
We
hospice.
get a few flashbacks here now. We get flashbacks within flashbacks within flashbacks. So bear with us here. But
Yeah, flashback bonanza here.
basically, we've got okay, so the cherish your life thing, because he's like, cherish your life. What does this mean? Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, you do. It's fucking the name of your charity or whatever. Fucking hospice is. I'm not really. That wasn't very obvious to me, but America's health system. You know what can you say? But anyway, so it's like yeah, cherish your life, and she's there, and she's like yeah. Jill Tuck confuses me in this film because, like, okay, I get you're pissed off about, you know, talking about your ex-husband and shit, you know,
Yeah,
like,
being
I get that.
interrogated for like 100+ hours. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. And she's like probably sick of that shit. But if it was me, I'd just be like, okay, X, Y, Z. I wouldn't be like looking like I'm hiding stuff because that's what she gives away to me. She's like, oh, I don't know anything. Oh, all right then. So it means this, you know. You just make yourself look guilty. Like, you know, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, it really isn't helping. I
Who, by
mean,
the way, is a fucking MILF, mate. I gotta say, man. Or, well, not really a MILF, unfortunately, but she's like John Kramer's punching, man. You know, like punching hard, brother. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure I've ever seen a fucking like. I mean, I think it's just like. I mean, the actress that plays Jill, like, she does look a little older. She doesn't look like. I mean, she looks young, but she's like, you can see there's a little bit of age on her, right? So I'm gonna guess she's 40 in these films, right? She's about 40. Would you go with that?
maybe. Yeah, I was thinking roughly 40s.
40s, let's say. Right. Very fit 40-year-old. And then you've got fucking John Kramer, man, who's like one of those people who just looks like he was born old, man. You
Yeah,
can't
he's
even imagine him
supposedly
being young.
52. He looks like he's 70, you know. Could be
He's
in his
like,
80s.
has he ever? He must have just been born old, man. Like, you know, like fucking Ian
Grey hair
McKellen or
from his
something.
youth.
Yeah, like, you know, you get those people that you just like, yeah, man, they've never been young. And yeah, he's this is what and like, okay, so what? And let's be generous. Let's say what the youngest he would be in
It
his
says he's
50s.
52 in this, though, doesn't it?
Does it? 52?
Yeah, yeah, because when they're doing his autopsy, they're like, John Kramer, age 52, male.
I
As you
don't
can
know,
see by his
man. I mean,
genitals.
that's pushing it, man. Maybe
Yeah.
cancer kind of, you know, wasn't doing him any favors, that sort of thing. But
Well, yeah, that was only towards probably the last year
when
or
he's
two of it.
actually stood next to Jill, you're like, I'm not sure, man. But listen, he's a player, man. He's got the money, you know. Like, I
It's
suppose.
good.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's like, oh, there's so much funny stuff, yeah, because, like,
know.
when it comes to that. But
They should have
anyway.
done that in the autopsy. They should have just made it clear, like, he's hung like a horse, man, and then you go, ah, that's all right. You know what I mean? But whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, back to the flashback. So okay, so it's like yeah, and so she okay because in this flashback, right, you've got fucking Cecil, yeah, and he's there, he's causing shit in this waiting room, and John Graham's like, oh, don't you know where you are? Fucking, you know, cherish your life, you fucking twat, and and yeah, whatever, and then we get like another flashback. So that's the first one. Oh yeah, and then he's going over to Jill, and he's like, yeah, you know, this place is built on the foundation. Cherish your life, cherishing your life, you know,
Hmm.
whatever. Um, and then we get back to like, wait,
Rig in the motel.
we do, but there was okay, yeah.
Yeah.
One
There's so
second.
many quick scenes, like, it's hard to keep track.
Oh yeah. So no, sorry, did get one more flashback, which is with the workshop, right? So we see John Kramer's
Oh, yeah.
workshop as well.
Yeah, he's
So like,
giving.
yeah, yeah. So this is where we see. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I've just built this new fucking. I've
Yeah,
just
this is
bought this
literally
new
John
man
Kramer's
cave.
setup tour, you know.
Yep. And then you see, oh yeah, and he's going on about this clock. I think this is unnecessary. The clock thing was bullshit.
Yeah,
It
I
was
never
just a kind
understood
of thing.
that. It's like,
Yeah, I was like, oh,
okay.
okay, this is like meant to be really significant, and then whatever.
Yeah, well, you
Um,
know, he's like doing his like old man thing, you know. It's like, yeah, I'm really interested in this clock here. This is
yeah,
this is Jigsaw's idea of a great date, you know.
yeah, man. And then obviously you see Billy Put. He's like been presumably preparing this for his like son, you know, like his baby child. He's gonna hand him this, you know, like yeah, okay. Red flag. So anyway, and
Yeah, it's like, yeah, please respond. I showed you my my bear trap.
yeah, man. So anyway, so we see all that shit, and then we get back to Rig. Um, oh
In a
yeah,
motel.
okay. So Rig, yeah, so yeah, okay. So we get to the motel. Okay, yeah, we get to the motel. Riggs told to go to this motel. Oh no, he finds a key, I think, and that's like, oh, it's his
Yeah.
key to a room number, right? And he's like, okay,
Yeah,
head
that's the
down
thing I
there.
noticed because this is one of the only times I think so far in Saw where it's not all in the same building. He has to go to different places.
That's true. Yeah, that is interesting.
Which I thought was interesting because it's like
Yeah.
he's technically not trapped, but this
No,
is the
not at
thing
all.
actually. Because of his obsession to save everyone, this is why he's going around.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
he's
He
going the
has
extra
the
mile.
most free will of any fucking person you'll ever meet. He's not confined. At any moment, he can stop and just go walk away,
Yeah, he could
which is
just go
very
home. He
interesting.
could
Yeah.
literally just go home. Except actually, no, he couldn't because his house is a saw trap now.
Well, anyway,
He probably got like he probably tripped the front door to like have a shin breaker or something for him.
yeah, and at
I
some
don't know.
point we get Strom. He's going. Yeah, he's not being what test. He's being recruited or something. So
Yeah, because it's like he's trying to, which that is kind of cool.
could
I
he have
think
been
'cause you
another,
can see it.
another Amanda? Like if all things went according to potentially, who knows?
Yeah, this guy's going through like an actual sort of like what's it called initiation, whereas Amanda was just like, "You've nearly died, and now you're gonna follow me." Am I right? Like
Yeah, man.
just relying on the power of Stockholm syndrome, you know?
What I like about this scene is that there's a little callback to Seven here because my favorite film, where he goes in the motel room and he finds a box and then there's some hair sticking out of it and then you get some. He's playing a tape, I think, or something. He gets some kind of like voice and it's like, oh, and it's like he's going up to the box and you think it's like
Yeah, his
and you
wife's
think it's gonna
head.
be his wife's head, just like in fucking Seven, So you're like, oh shit,
Well,
like, and then he
seven
opens
spoilers.
it. Yeah, he opens it. It's just a pig mask. So you're like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
very very
honestly,
nice little
that did
fake out
even that
there.
reminds me of Seven. Yeah, like because sorry, it's the same thing, not the pig mask, but that whole scene also did remind me of Seven as well.
Yeah,
You
you're
got
right. Actually, yeah, you're right. Well, this is basically what I've written down as the nonce trap.
no,
So
actually, yeah, this is similar kind
yeah,
of.
yeah,
There
yeah,
is
yeah.
a trap in Seven
Well,
similar to this.
ish. Oh, yeah, because there is like, well, actually, there are a couple of scenes in Seven where the victims are like, well, victims. Actually, no, there's three of them basically die on their beds. Yeah. So interesting. And I think, well, yeah, because there are a couple of moments because there's like a great big fat guy, and he's like, obviously, there's one of them in one of the Seven traps as well. So, yeah. But let's talk about this one. So, okay, so there's this
Yeah,
fucking motel owner, right? And he's this big fat fucking, incel, basically. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got
yeah,
OnlyFans
literally like
subscriptions,
Discord mod.
financially crippling him, with like getting personalized messages off OnlyFans. Subscriptions and shit, man. $100 for a good morning, babe, or something.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, say your name.
Yeah, man. He's not a nonce, actually. I don't think he's just a rapist, basically, a fucking
Yeah, he's
pervert.
only a rapist.
Yeah, yeah, only.
Well, beyond rapist, like.
So I mean, it's interesting the way Rig baits him up as well because he's having a bit of Barney with some crackhead who's at the fucking front of this motel. Tells him to fuck off, and then he's looking for his dog who like Rig baited with some keys, and then fucking the dog's like checking out the mask, and then the fucking fat guy. What's his name, man? Do you remember his name?
No.
Fat guy. I don't know. I can't remember. I mean,
Peter Griffin.
yeah. So anyway, he gets and then Riggs just like, yeah, man, what's behind this door? And he's like, oh, I don't know, don't put me in there. And he fucking puts him in there, and then it's like, oh shit, and he's
It's
looking
like a
at all these
red room,
pictures.
man.
Oh, and then it's like, yeah, and then on the wall it says, feel what I feel. It's like, yeah, fuck you, cunt, mate.
It's like a
Like,
billion. Yeah, it's like those pictures are like fucked, man. Like,
yeah, grim,
get
mate.
so many.
And
And like,
and
yeah, it comes to because I forgot about this one because this is my second time seeing it, and I was like, you have zero sympathy for this guy. I'm like, fuck, don't care.
zero, man.
Like this is like Jigsaw's been taking some L's recently, putting an innocent daughter like to die. Yeah, and then it comes he's back again for this one. And it's like yeah, fuck it. I'm still a true Kramerite. Um,
Team Jigsaw, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Um.
gets you
Yeah,
really
you're
fucked.
right, man. This is one of them where he fucking deserves he deserves what's coming to him, man.
Yeah, it's
Which
ironic as
is
well actually because
yeah,
this guy. I mean, obviously he didn't build his own saw trap here, but he's not far off from what he's done before. So he's literally yeah, he's quite literally made his own bed, so he might as well lie in it. So
yeah, you're right. So he has to like strap himself in each of his four fucking limbs, and then his head
and his
gets
head.
put between his head gets put in a clamp. And then at some point, Rig watches a tape and he sees like the footage and stuff. It's fucked up,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, man, like hand this man the tools that will redeem himself, whatever. So he's given a pair of fucking triggers, right? This is grim, man. So
Yeah.
like, and then Rig just closes the door and he's like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Oh, and yes,
that's like the most understandable thing ever in Saw. I'd have just gone out the room.
I'm thinking what? I don't know. The screams are enough, but I don't know. I would want to see the guy suffer. I think I'll be like, yeah, fuck this
Yeah, but
guy.
then you don't want to get your suit covered in blood.
Yeah, true. We totally skipped over the fact that what's really interesting is that Rig has to put on the mask for
Yeah,
people
yeah, true. Yeah,
to.
he's literally being groomed into this.
Yeah, man. Because there are like cameras following him, so I don't know how much of a difference that would make, but it's just the symbolic nature of it, I suppose.
Hmm.
Interesting. Um. So yeah. Anyway, so then this fucking guy, man, he's got his head clamped into this fucking thing, and he's like wriggling about shit, and he fucking presses one of the buttons, and this fucking
Scythe.
spike comes like, oh, it's grim. It's spike fucking. It's a long fucking shit thing, man. Goes in his fucking eyeball, and like, oh,
Probably beyond. Yeah.
yeah, great. That's what I thought. Like, wouldn't that go a bit
Hits the
further?
brain,
Because
maybe.
it's heavy, It's like, pff, okay. And he has to like, and then he can't do the other one in time.
Yeah, he
So
does the other one. He's like literally tonight's biggest loser, man. He loses both of his eyes at the same time as all his legs and arms
no,
get
he doesn't do
ripped
the
off.
second one, does he?
He does do the second one, but it's too late. So he's alright.
No, I'm sure he doesn't. I thought he just does the first one, and that's all he can
I
do.
think he does the second one, but he doesn't have enough time. So
Okay, well, yeah,
so
he might have been
I'm not
about.
yeah, not don't feel bad for this guy at all. So.
The thing I question about this trap, though, I mean, it's not. I mean, it is fucked up, but it's not the greatest effect ever. Like just each
Yeah.
limb being ripped off, but whatever. The thing that I question is like, let's say he like successfully got through this trap and he fucking dug both of his eyes out in time. Then how does he get out?
Well, Rig's right there, so I'm assuming
No,
he has to.
Rig left the room. Rig's like,
Yeah,
fuck that.
I know, but I assume John Kramer assumes that Rig would be, hanging around for it to finish. Then he'd be like, "All right, you can go now. Don't report me to the police, please. I mean, I am the police anyway." So, yeah, basically, yeah.
I don't know, like, because Rig walks out of there, so I'm thinking, man, like, okay, I mean, he can't take his straps off, but I mean, and he can't move his head because A, he's fucking clamped in there, and B, he's got these fucking an inch worth of metal fucking pinning his fucking skull down. So, man, I mean, it's a fucked up way to die, man. I think that's like the thing is as well. You wouldn't really die instantly from any of those things either. You just bleed out like as well, wouldn't you? You wouldn't die straight away.
Yeah.
You die from like blood loss, I
Well,
think.
you could also die from the shock, I guess, of all of your limbs being ripped off.
Probably, yeah. I mean, he's fucking probably wasn't far off a heart attack anyway, so
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Zero
but yeah.
sympathy. Goodbye, bozo. Anyway.
So yeah, man. I think this. I mean, we're about halfway through the film now, and I'm just thinking back to what we've covered so far. And I'm like, this is probably the most violent Saw film we've had so far.
Yeah, this ain't my family friendly Saw one.
No, yeah, this is like they really didn't hold back. Which yeah. Then we
Another
get Rig.
flashback.
Okay, this is interesting. This is really I like this flashback. You get a flashback of Rig and Hoffman, right? So
Mhm.
they're like investigating this fucking like pedo teacher, right? That's what it seemed like to
I
me.
thought
And
it was no, it was his dad, right? So her dad, like, who's beating her or whatever.
oh, you're right.
What do you
For
think?
some reason, I assumed it was a teacher. He looks like a teacher,
I
doesn't he?
don't know. Maybe you're applying your own previous PE,
Yeah, I'm projecting,
experiences.
man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah, Mr. King, man.
yeah. Literally, shout, Mr. King.
Nah, but fucking yeah. Anyway, so fucking what's his name? Yeah, it's this little girl. He's like, this guy's proper nonce though, man, because he's like not even fucking ashamed of himself. He's like he's like and like wagging the finger and shit, man. It's like proper fucked up, and he's the most obvious fucking pedo ever,
Yeah,
man.
abuser. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
oh yeah. But when it comes to you know, because it's like, oh well, we can't press charges. Well, actually, yeah, because Hoffman's like, you know, man, like we know this guy's bait, but we can't press charges because this and this.
Yeah.
And then
So
like,
and Rig, yeah, they got nothing on him. So Riggs like fucking hates this guy because
yeah, this
he's like,
guy's like,
trying to make the go. And then the guy's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna touch her again in half an
yeah,
hour.
yeah,
See you later,
he's
mate.
like, oh, kids, sometimes, they just
Yeah, man.
never shut the
Oh.
fuck up.
Yeah, and then he fucking chins him, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, man, fucking justice. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
good shit to see Rig beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, we're all on Team Rig for this one. And Hoffman, fair play to him as well, because this is where we get a flashback of Art Blank showing up. Or maybe it's not. I think that comes a little bit later, but I'm going to combine it into the same thing. Because later on we see like Art Blank shows up, the fucking lawyer geezer. It turns
Yeah,
out he's a lawyer for all of them.
somehow.
Yeah.
He's like everyone's lawyer, man. He's literally like
Yeah, he
Saul
literally
Goodman
is.
here.
Is he a lawyer in Breaking Bad?
No, you
Okay.
wish.
Well, anyway, he fucking he's a lawyer there, man. And he's like, yeah, fucking, he's covering for this fucking nonce, and then Hoffman fucking barefaced lies to him, man. He's like, well, he hit him first.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, saw the whole thing.
I love that though, because I was like, I
I
originally
love
thought,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Hoffman's just like a cardboard cutout, like dickhead. But yeah, he's standing up for Rick here, man. I was
He's
like,
got
yeah,
morals, man. I'm
respect,
like,
man.
yeah, Hoffman is like, and I think, yeah, this is a minute where you earn some respect, a lot of respect from him because he's like, fair play, mate. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he's like backs him, and he's like, oh, because like he makes a good point as well. Because this guy's like, oh, well, we've got a witness, his wife, and he's like, yeah, obviously she'd have stuff to gain. And then he's like, I also have a witness, myself.
Yeah.
Like,
Saw the
just like,
whole thing.
yeah, he hit him first, even though it's like a blatant lie. And it's just like, actually, well, he did lay his hands on him first, so
True. And
go on.
Hoffman, he's one of those guys where you just like, I don't think you'd question him. You wouldn't call him out to be a liar because he's just like he's very like relaxed and everything. He's a good
Yeah,
liar.
he's got like
He's a
that
good liar.
poker face, man.
He's a good liar. Yeah.
Like, do I
Um,
look like I'm lying?
but this is one of them where it's like he's lying, but for the right cause. Do you know what I mean? This is where you're like fair play, mate. So he's covering Rick against this nonce. You're like fair enough.
Yeah,
Um,
there's like another flashback as well, another Kramer flashback as well at this point, isn't there?
Yes, yes, there is. So this
Yeah,
is where we find out. I mean, obviously, fucking what's his name? Strom is still interrogating Jill, and he's like, oh, tell me something, and she's like, no, tell me something. Oh, okay, here's my life story.
yeah,
So then
man,
it's
this is
like,
like,
okay, so then we get to find out like why basically his villain origin story.
yeah,
So
basically.
and we get a Sigma moment in this as well. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
Okay,
did the same one.
but basically, so we fucking get to see basically, Jill. She's heavily pregnant with John Kramer's baby, and she's like, oh, it wasn't just any
Seven
baby. It's
months
like
now, so
carefully planned. Because Strom's got. Oh, okay, so boy meets girl. They love. Boy loves girl. Girl gets pregnant. Girl loses baby. Boy becomes serial killer. Blah blah blah. It's like so like fuck you, Strom, man. Like
yeah,
whatever.
he's like,
He's a complete swat, mate. He's an absolute weapon. But anyway,
basically.
so she's heavily pregnant, right? And then she's like just locking up the hospital, whatever.
There's not
And
much just working at a hospital while pregnant, like 7 months. Actually, this is America, man. You can't take any days off.
exactly. So she's there, and she's like, don't and then you get a little jump scare because like fucking Cecil comes up against the window. He's like, yeah, I need to get my jacket or drugs, whatever he's after.
Yeah, no, he's like, oh, yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, I need my jacket.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, man. And in the meantime, John Kramer's outside waiting for her in the car, Sigma male, like, because some hooker
Yeah.
fucking approaches him, and he's like, what's going on here, And she's like, oh, you want a friend, And he's like, you're a beautiful home. You're pretty, blah! Oh, I fucked up. You're a beautiful girl. Go home.
Yeah, exactly. Like
So,
he's just like, I don't have time for this shit. Like the funny thing is, like she literally is just like, oh, like fawning over John Kramer. All the girls are head over heels for this guy.
yeah, they
I
are,
mean,
man. Hot stuff.
like you think, oh, this guy's old and shit. Man, you do not know the power of someone being a serial killer. Like like most recently with Jeffrey Dahmer, man. This guy was a normal person, no one would care. But suddenly, half the girls love a serial killer.
Makes you
Don't
think.
know why, but
Makes you think, man. Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
Man,
yeah. So
need to get
he
my
fucking
prospects up.
straight up like, you're a beautiful girl. Go home. That's like that's gonna end up. Yeah, I think that's the most Sigma moment from this film. But well, you're welcome to suggest ones as we go along, Henry. And yeah, so he denies her, and then fucking Cecil, yeah. So we're back to his wife, and she's like, she opens the door for him, lets him through, and then, man, this is fucked up, And this is where you're like, oh yeah, this is bad, man, because like this fucking Cecil guy, he fucking comes back out. Well, she's looking through the door, fucking slams the door open, fucking, do you know what I mean? Like into
Yeah,
the
handle and all, man. Yeah.
yeah, into the 8-9 months pregnant fucking Jill, and then she's fucking starting bleeding and shit, man. And you're like, oh fuck, man. And
Yeah,
he
I've got to
he
say,
obviously he's fucked up, so he's like, oh shit, man. So he just fucking runs out like the punk he is, and then John
John
Kramer
Kramer
sees it,
sees
and
him.
he's like, oh shit. And this is sad, man.
Yeah,
Like
this got to be like the saddest death in like Saw, man. Like the whole series, honestly. Like this yeah. Well, you also got the daughter who literally didn't do shit, and now she's dead. But anyway,
yeah, I mean, this is like really, yeah, it is fucking sad and fucked up.
although
It's like, oh shit.
they were, I will say. One slight silver line to this rainbow is the fact they were going to call this kid Gideon, man. Like,
Oh yeah,
he
yeah,
definitely
that's
got
right.
bullied at school for that.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Well, it's
Um,
I don't know if that's a Sigma name. I don't know.
Gideon, I don't know, but and yeah, man. So then we get this fight. So and I think the worst, the sad, the frame that really hits you is when John Kramer's like carrying Jill like into the hospital. He's like, oh, I need some help here, man. And he's there. He's like, and you see all these shots of him fucking like literally becoming a villain. He's just there, and he's like, fuck this shit, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, pretty much. And like, and then he's next to her, and he's holding something. I can't
His
fucking remember
watch.
his watch.
Yeah, he's like holding his watch. I don't know what he was doing. Like,
There must be a deleted scene or something where like there was some kind of because they make a big deal of it. I'm like, did I miss something? I'm like, no, I didn't.
yeah, it's like he was time. Look at his watch.
Time, yeah,
I don't
but
know.
yeah, whatever.
Well,
Um,
he's got that clock as well. Remember the
yeah,
thing? The
yeah,
whole
that's
deal
clock
hinged
stuff. I
on.
don't get it. Yeah, throws his watch away, whatever. But and he says, "You can't help. Hang on, you can't help them. They have to help themselves." And they're there, and then so it begins.
Yeah, and may I
Now,
say as well, this is the point where, well, when this scene ends, it's like it's John Kramer turning around, and then it's got the next. It like transitions to the back to the interrogation of Jill.
yeah, that's right.
Which is like it's such a good transition. I like they do so many good transitions in Saw, man. Like through the entire series, like
Yeah, yeah, very well done. Um, so yeah, that's the conclusion he comes to after all this. Um, and you see him sat there, and this is the moment where he now he's like, yeah, fuck this shit, and because I don't know, like it's interesting because obviously what before we saw this, it's like it's all about his tumor. He appreciates the fucking value of life basically, and like and he wants everyone else to appreciate that, which is obviously a great. It's a genuinely interesting philosophical like foundation to go on. But then it's like, okay, so this happened before he got diagnosed with cancer, right?
mhm.
You'd
Well, he tried
assume.
to kill himself as well. So
Right. After he got cancer. So
maybe these things just piled on top of each other.
they must have happened, yeah, quite close together, I think.
Yeah, because they literally say as well, like not long after he got diagnosed, and it was just like,
Yeah. We'll come to it a little bit later on anyway. But he just basically, yeah, you can't help them, they have to help themselves. Bang! John Kramer is dead. Now we're entering Jigsaw era.
yeah, exactly.
So he's fucking grieving shit. Anyways, then yeah, blah blah blah. We cut back to Matthews and Hoffman in this fucking room. There's this shady, mysterious Zepp-esque guy there.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
basically shades of Saw One, isn't it? So fucking Matthews, he tries to kill himself. We should explain the trap a little bit because basically there's
Yeah,
like this seesaw lever kind of thing. Hoffman is tied up on one side, and then fucking there's a block of ice on the other with some heaters on it, and Matthews is like chained up in a fucking noose,
yeah,
and
and
obviously
at the
tied up.
very top. Actually, no, he doesn't realize it by this point. There's like two
Yeah, yeah,
giant blocks
yeah,
of
yeah,
ice on the
yeah,
ceiling.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, so he tries to fucking kill himself. Who wouldn't, man, in that fucking situation? To be fair. Um, and then some random guy comes to like help him back up. He's like, no, you got to play by the rules.
Yeah.
And then Art Blank reveals himself, and then we see he's the lawyer and stuff. Now, I mean, this film has got.
Why is he there twice? That's what I don't get. Like, why is he in 2 traps now?
Well, yeah, he's not really in a trap, but I just didn't see
Well, yeah,
why
he
it's
is. Look at
necessary
like
to
if
like
he
make a
pulls
big
this
deal
thing
out of
down,
his
it's like,
character so much. He's not really like an interesting character in this. Yeah, he's there, but it's like I don't really care that he takes off the hood and it's him. Like, wow, okay, it's the guy who's in the trap at the beginning, but you're like, okay, whatever, like
yeah, but this thing I don't get. He succeeds in that trap, so why is he in another one? Like, because he's got the thing on the back of his neck. Remember?
Yeah, we'll see that a little later on. But yeah, that's a good question. Well, I don't know. I never thought about
Exactly.
it.
Like,
Yeah, you're right. Maybe.
well, then again,
Oh.
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe at this point
because
though,
I
we're not
mean,
sure where
we'll come back to
Jigsaw
him
ends
later.
up.
We'll revisit that one, because we'll have another opportunity to talk about him. But anyway, then okay, so we get to another trap. So Rig, he's on his bike and he comes to this a school, I believe.
Yeah.
This is why I think
Yeah,
the guy was a teacher
biology
as
class.
well. Either
Give you
that
teacher vibes. Yeah.
pedo guy, yeah, or maybe his wife's a teacher. I don't know. But either way,
They're
they
both
are in the
teachers.
spear trap.
Yeah, the
So
husband and wife trap together forever.
yeah. Interesting trap, very interesting trap. I
Mm.
actually think, like from a medical perspective, biological perspective,
Yeah,
because
and also from a meaning perspective in the way that she has to get
yeah,
out.
yeah. This is like I think this is one of the most creative traps there is, like in terms of like and yeah, like it's very multi-dimensional. I really like this one,
Mm.
because yeah, she's fucking pinned up, and then you've got all the medical diagrams in front of her and stuff, and it's like the 9 points, I think,
Yeah,
right?
8 points.
8.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so like major arteries and shit. So there's these spears connecting them, and then for her they're in places which won't kill her, right? They'll obviously like wound her probably very significantly, but they won't kill her.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
Questionable.
she's not a picture of health. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. She seems quite frail. So, but
I
anyway,
mean,
whatever.
I
And
mean,
then this
John
guy,
Kramer was able to manage pulling
oh, yeah,
the fucking gear stick out of him from his car in a car
yeah,
crash.
the axle, fucking yeah.
Yeah, he literally got it.
She's got to pull these spears out, and everyone that she pulls won't kill her, but it will. But the spears are poking through this fucking nonce, who has like one through his fucking neck and his
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
as well, it like symbolically as well, because it's like,
yeah,
will you let yourself bleed out by being apathetic like you've always been? Like, because like she's like an enabler basically
yeah.
by like standing by, but then she finally realizes, maybe I should sever myself from my husband.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a really
it's a
interesting
really
one, and you
clever
can
trap
see
film.
her. What I found, and credit to the actress because she's like, you can see her kind of taking power at that moment. She's like, yeah,
Yeah,
and she actually needs strength, like
she finally
physical
realized.
and emotional, like sort of mental strength to fucking bang, like do to actually get out of this trap. Um,
Yeah,
Although she doesn't quite because she leaves one in there. Presumably she like passed out or some shit. Her husband's well dead by now.
yeah,
By the time Rig finds her. Um, but he doesn't. Does he pull? He pulls the last one out,
yeah.
right? And then leaves a jacket on her, puts the jacket around her, and then puts the key round her neck. It's like you gotta let yourself out, whatever. And then what's it on the writing on the wall? So you had see
Oh
what I
yeah,
feel as I feel, and then this one is
save as I save. Oh,
yeah,
that's the last one.
that's
I
right.
don't know.
Same as I say. Well
Yeah,
remembered.
and then he's also got like, I think there were 2 different keys as well, was it, at this point?
Yeah, yeah. He
That was
goes.
it.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, you've got to look off the map or something. He goes behind it. It's like, okay, that was a very that was like a bit of rushed script writing there, but fair, whatever.
Yeah.
Gets you from A to B. Um. So he sets off the fire alarm, and now things are speeding up. So the FBI, whatever, right behind him. They come to this room, to the spear trap room, basically, and bit random, but like a spear gun is there and like shoots out and kills one of the
Yeah,
men.
I really hope that person who was there to take, photos learned her lesson, and cherished her life.
Yeah, man, that was random as fuck, man.
But
I mean,
then, yeah, there's a whole thing about that, but we'll cover that later.
what do you mean?
But the thing of the fact that like some of these are like excessive traps, some of them are like
Yeah,
uh
very. With this one, I'm just like, what the fuck? That's just like that's where like Saw films are so good in for like avoiding those kind of like unnecessary bullshit like deaths like you get in like typical horror films. But on this case, you just like I didn't. Okay, yeah, it's cool because it's unexpected, it's a jump scare. But other than that, it kind of just it
doesn't
deducts
really add
more than it.
much.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a random fucking forensic girl. It's like what did she do? Like.
Well, you've been too upset. You're just gonna
Yeah.
recycle the same
Or
thing
you
with
you
Terry.
threaded your eyebrows in a non-symmetrical way. Bang, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Like
You're obsessed with inspecting the dead, even though it's literally your job. So I'm gonna kill you so you can join me.
yeah. Or you use Velcro shoes instead of laced
Yeah.
ones. Bang, like
Oh,
yeah.
you didn't pay your taxes on time.
Yeah.
You lie. You say you're actually 6 foot when you're actually 5'11.
Oh, exactly, man. So whatever. Then we go on to okay. So the FBI guys, Strom and Perez, they fucking they're in a school or some shit where the nonce was before,
Yeah.
not from the spear trap, but from because there's some message there that takes them to go there, go home or something like that, and it's like oh,
Something like that.
something like that. And basically they come into this fucking room. Now this is where I'm like, what the fuck, because. There's okay, Billy the puppet is there, like surrounded by candles, performing some satanic ritual, presumably.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. But your next move is very important.
yeah, now what I don't get is how the tape is addressed to Perez. It's like, oh, hello, Agent Perez, and it's like, how the fuck did you know, like, A, Perez would be there, and B, she'd be the one to play the tape, and she'd be the one, like, curious about it, like,
Yeah,
Strong
how
didn't
she would
give a
be
fuck.
standing in the right spot to get shot by it.
Yeah, I mean that's okay because she's kind of leaning into it, but I'm still like, how the fuck? How did he know that Perez would be the one to do that? That's a bit far fetched. Um,
Yeah.
and this confused me as well. In the tape, it says, "Oh, your partner will kill an innocent man soon." Doesn't happen,
Maybe
does it?
he's looking on to Saw 5.
Yeah, I was
Oh no,
thinking.
no, he does. Well, he
Yeah,
does
he kills.
actually kill an innocent man. Well, kind
No,
of
he
innocent.
doesn't.
He
Got
does
well.
later, but you can't.
Okay, even that aside, I don't think I question how Jigsaw would have predicted that. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll get to it.
I don't know that for
This
this
one
this
this
whole
one's like one
scene
of
is
the most like
very off to me in terms of like it's way too convenient. Like first we know Perez would play that. Second that he predicts that Strom will do that. So it's like could have easily been the other way around. Like Strom answered the tape and then Perez whatever. But yeah, fucking yeah, your next move is crucial. Bang! Fucking shoots her in the face.
Jigsaw. Yeah, the classic Jigsaw cannon trap.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, this is another trap. I need to fucking. Well, is it a trap? I think it is a trap, but not really. Kind of. And Perez didn't really. I didn't get the vibe that she was. She was okay. She wasn't an asshole or anything. She was
yeah,
pretty much.
exactly. I don't know what the reason for that was, but anyway.
Yeah, but honest. And what I don't get, she gets like I don't. I'm not really sure. Is it a bullet that kills her or some kind of little cannon in there? It doesn't
It's like
kill her instantly. It just kind
it's
of
a little. It must be a little like shrapnel cannon or something.
like firework or
Because
some shit. I don't
there's
know.
like all bits of stuff stuck in her face.
Yeah, yeah, right. And she's like, doesn't kill her straight away. She's like, whatever.
Mhm.
But this whole scene was just a little bit like took me out of it a little bit. And I'm just like, what the fuck. But
Yeah.
whatever. Then we cut back to Matthews and Hoffman. Matthews basically tries to trick Blank by like playing dead. And then Blank decides to hand him a gun. And this
Yeah,
is
I never got that.
yeah, it makes no sense. This whole part is just like, what the fuck is going on here? Because Blank hands him the gun, and it's like, Matthews fucking, first of all, I'd just blow my own brains out, man. Or I would shoot Blank, or I would shoot. I'd do something with that. Well, I
Yeah,
don't
he's
know,
only got one
like,
bullet. But
just.
the thing is, though, he's like slipping and sliding, man. He's like probably half conscious. He probably couldn't aim very well, to be honest.
Well, he
Half
aims
his
well
scope.
enough, later on, but
No,
whatever.
yeah,
I don't
true.
know. I was just like, Especially the whole point of Eric Matthews is that he's like an impulsive fucking guy, and it's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
whatever.
the funny thing is they give him a revolver as well. Those things are fucking hard to aim as well, like from
Yeah,
personal experience. So
yeah. Well, what can you do? Then yeah, hands him the gun, and then we get a little. Okay, so then we get another flashback. So we get Jigsaw, John Kramer. He's in his fucking warehouse, the one we saw before. But this time, it's all doom and gloom. His son's fucking dead.
yeah,
And Blank shows up and he's like, "Yeah, John, we're partners. We got to fucking, you got to sort yourself out, mate." Something like
yeah.
that.
It's like you remember all that housing for the homeless and the poor people that you were gonna do, and he's like, "Fuck the homeless, fuck the poor.
Yeah, and
I'm sad."
this might be a Sigma moment because he's like, "Get the fuck out," and he's like, "Didn't you hear me? Yeah, I heard you. Get the fuck out." So maybe not.
Not really.
I don't know. It was like,
That's like the most basic thing ever to say. Get the fuck out. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I suppose you're right. But yeah, Blank, and again, Blank's just randomly shot. Pretty good drip, by the way, man. Gold tie, gold pocket square. I don't know if you noticed that.
yeah, exactly. He's like it doesn't matter where he's going to like someone's basement. He's gonna be like iced out for this shit.
Yeah, yeah. Drip or drown, man. Um, and then we basically get a flashback because Jill's there as well, I think. And then basically we get a flashback to the very first saw trap. So Cecil, he fucking wakes up. No, no, we get fucking even beyond that. We get a flashback within a flashback. So I know within a flashback because this is all a flashback. So, okay. So John Kramer, he's like out for blood, for Cecil. Fair play, mate. I'm not blaming you on this one. He fucking it's Chinese New Year. We see him pick up a pig mask.
Yeah, kidnap someone in broad daylight.
And Cecil's just an all-round scumbag, because he's fucking robbing a little like some Chinese fucking guys there, like trying to make ends meet in his fucking crappy stall, man, flogging crap, and then like he even has to steal from that guy, like a
Yeah,
little
he steals like a chess piece like size.
yeah, like
It's
some
like
little figurine, or whatever, just like pockets it. It's like you're just stealing for the sake of it now, mate. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's like a poor guy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like for fuck's sake. John Kramer's there. He's got his fucking chloroform and he's got his fucking just swipes a pig mask, and fucking comes by. And I find it really cool that was the origin of the pig mask,
Mm.
because I was like. I was kind of watching it in anticipation because obviously for the little video we made, for an announcement of the, and if you people haven't seen that, fucking go back on our channel and watch it, but because it's a bit of fun. I was, me, Henry, I was like fucking the whole day and like a few days leading up to making that video, I was trying to find a fucking pig mask. Couldn't for the life of me. Um, and but I was looking specifically for like the horror kind of one that you see in the sort, because I forgot, because the mask Kramer uses here is actually quite like it's different.
Yeah,
It's
cartoony.
enough
Well,
to,
not cartoony, but friendly,
yeah,
friendly.
it gives the object, but yeah, it's like a kids one basically. So it's like, oh, okay. Anyway, and then Cecil wakes up in a fucking chair. John Kramer's explaining his whole fucking,
Yeah, it's like arms and legs are
shtick
like
to him. Yeah, man.
being stabbed.
Yeah, right. So like he's strapped to a chair which has razors under his wrists, basically, and his ankles, I think,
Presumably his ankles too.
something like
So
that.
it's best stay still for the time being. While Jigsaw explains. This is
Yeah,
something funny as well because he's like literally present there. He hasn't quite figured out how to work from home in this job, right?
yeah, he hasn't got the tape set up and stuff. But this is what I think John Kramer. He really, I mean, this guy is basically responsible for his fucking unborn
Yeah,
son.
of all the ones you want to be like there in person for.
Yeah, yeah. So he's like, yeah. It's cool though because this is John Kramer's warehouse and shit, man. And we see him. This is, like I said, the very first saw trap, chronologically speaking. Um, and yeah, man. So fucking Cecil's in there, and he's like, fuck you, like whatever. He's like, he's like this guy. He's like real fucking shitbag.
Yeah, exactly.
So John Kramer's like, okay, goes behind him, fucking picks up this fucking like knife mask, basically, which like
Yeah, like
attaches to the chair
because
behind
he's like
him.
this is the tool that will help you that will help you free yourself and the shackles of your soul or something. I like this quote where he's like he's just fucking like I don't have a fucking soul. And he says maybe in the next life you will, Cecil. Like
Yeah, and he's like, calls him ugly as well. Basically, he's like, yeah, bring the ugliness out of you or something like that. Well, I don't know, like
Yeah, it's
something.
like your face has to match. Yeah, the ugliness
Yeah,
inside you.
yeah. Um. So yeah.
Another pretty fucked up but good trap.
This trap is fucked up, man. Yeah, because he has to
Got
push
8
his
blades, man.
face. He has to push his face through some fucking knives, and there are a lot of knives there, man. And then basically like press the fucking released trigger with his nose or whatever makes it there.
Yeah.
Um, fucked up trap.
Yeah.
I'm.
The funny
We've
thing
got a
is,
lot of fucked up traps here. I'm gonna be like really interested to see how we rank them at the end.
yeah, and the funny thing is as well, he like he does break out of it, but like Jigsaw must have made it a bit shitty because like some of it's still stuck to his arm, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
the chair like breaks underneath him, right? It's like from this moment, Jigsaw realized he needs like refined steel chairs. Like no, nothing wooden, man. No
yeah,
bull.
yeah, he's like, oh shit, I have to invest more in this.
But it's the first because this is the thing we associate with John Kramer traps. They're very like, they're very well engineered. That's what he is. He's an engineer, civil engineer. And this chair fucking falls apart. So it's like maybe this because this is the first
He's
trap
an
he does.
engineer, not
Okay,
a carpenter,
good
you
to
know.
learn these lessons early on in life. And what I really like is how like John Kramer is cool as a fucking
Yeah,
cucumber.
this guy's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And
Yeah,
then,
because I think Cecil even picks up one of the knives and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill you now, man." And John Kramer, he's like literally like, "This is like Sigma rule, man." He's
yeah,
there, just steps to
yeah,
the side,
he's got his like hand. He's almost like he's got his arms out right at one point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
Just
kind of,
steps out the way
he's
like Looney Tunes style, man.
literally, man. And fucking yeah, Cecil like bundles, like stacks into this fucking
Razor trap.
razor, yeah, razor
It's
trap.
just
What
barbed wire, man.
now? You know what I'm fucking wondering? Is it coincidence, or is that maybe like John Grant? He's got his razor wire there in anticipation for the trap he was going to set up in Saw One.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah,
Um,
some crazy stuff, you know.
so we come out of that flashback into the flashback where he's back in the warehouse. Jill's there, and he's like, "Yeah, don't come back,"
She
Um,
makes a good point though, where she's like, I lost him too, but yeah,
yeah,
I don't have to go on a fucking vigilante serial killing spree.
true,
Like, it
true.
must have been harder for her because she was literally carrying the kid for like 7 months.
Yeah,
And
true.
had to go to the hospital and all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And she fucking basically, yeah. And he's like, yeah, tells her not to come back, and then he smashes up that really important clock from before. So
Yeah.
symbolism there.
Yeah, yeah. Although yeah, because it goes back to her interrogation, and she has like a kind of a cool line. It's well written, where it's like someone else had survived that crash. It wasn't John Kramer anymore. Like
Yeah,
the only person who survived was Jigsaw.
yeah, it's true, man. So very interesting shit, man. And then she fucks off out of the warehouse. The final thing we get to see, John Kramer pulls off this fucking tarpaulin, and there's a glass coffin underneath. So
Yeah,
we'll see where
we'll
that
see that
leads.
at some point.
Anyway, now we're coming towards the end of the film. So fucking Art Blank, he's there. He's back with the lads, Hoffman and Matthews. He fucking
Yeah,
reveals the neck trap, which is like a bit of like this is where it's like, oh, you guys are getting.
yeah. I gotta say as well though, like being Art in this situation, it must be a fucking pain in the ass to babysit fucking Matthews here. He's like being
And
annoying as fuck the whole time, like for 90 minutes.
I don't blame Matthews at all. I have full sympathy for
I
this
know he
guy at
wants
this
to kill
stage. I'm just
himself,
like,
but
fucking hell, man. Like this is
I know
just
he wants to die, but from the perspective of like, oh, I'd fucking take the revolver and shoot myself as well. Whereas like, like Hoffman can't even add any input to this because he's gagged. He's just chilling there.
yeah, man. Um, so and anyway, this trap is like, what does it do? It just would probably just snip your like spinal column or something like that, right?
No, no.
That's
Yeah, yeah, you're now paralytic. Congratulations on that.
Anyway, so this the ticker's going, and then fucking Rick, he's walking up to it, and it's like, oh, fucking got his gun drawn,
Yeah,
and like,
at the same time, Art realizes he looks all along the ceiling and he realizes, oh, if someone goes through that door, these two giant blocks of ice will crush Matthews, and at the same time supposedly kill Hoffman.
I don't know if he realizes that.
He does realize that,
I mean,
like,
he
very
looks
close
up,
to
but I
the
don't
end.
think he realizes what they're gonna do. I think he just notices them, and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck is that?" You know?
Yeah, he notices it, and then he said, like, because he's like screaming, "Don't like, I hope he doesn't come through this door,"
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah,
Either
well,
way,
there's a
fucking
whole bit like,
yeah. Either way, basically, fucking, Rig bursts through the door with 1 second left on the clock.
yeah. Well, actually, can we also bring back slightly the
Yeah.
fact that like Strom is right hot on his tail from the looks of it.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Like literally, like he's like 10 seconds behind them more or less at all times.
That's right. Okay, so Rig bursts through the door. Matthews shoots Rig, and then Rig.
No, Rig. No, Matthew
No,
shoots the door in the attempt to shoot Rig, but he doesn't. He's not able to.
yeah, he
And
does. Rig
oh no,
does
he
get
does
shot
shoot.
though.
Well, yeah, and then Rig shoots Art because he's like, "Not the fuck, stop!" Like,
Yeah, he shoots Art once, and then they're both down.
yeah, like
Then
fucking,
we get
like what's his name? Matthews has been turned to like a fucking slushy by now. So
this is mad. Like Matthews finally fucking dies. Like we can be sure of that now.
yeah,
And the
you
most
assume
fucking
Hoffman
one of
dies.
the most violent, like one of the most violent, and I don't know what the word I want to use here is, but I want to say like almost artistic kind of trap because these two fucking ice hammers. No need for them to be made out of ice, by the way.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like, just for dramatic effect, fucking come and like slam down, fucking smash his fucking head in, man, like a fucking grape. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. One of the things
It's
that I realized
gruesome.
is if if I was Matthews and I'd had noticed that, right? Do you reckon it would have been possible for him to like swing back or forward enough so he doesn't get caught in it?
Maybe, but I think at that point he probably welcomed it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Probably,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I'd have been like, finally.
fuck that shit, man. Yeah, like, yeah, man. But what a fucking trap. Like, what a way to die, man. That's really fucked up. Like, fucking just goes slams his fucking head. Like, mate, imagine that, man.
Yeah, it feels bad as well though, because Rig proper fucks this up as well. Like the whole,
Yeah,
because the whole
literally.
thing hinged on him just not
Just not
obsessing
go
over
through a
saving
fucking
everyone.
door. Yeah, can't learn his
Yeah,
fucking lesson. And I think he gets a piece of paper beforehand warning him or last chance or something like
yeah, exactly. It's just like
that.
all he had to do was like wait.
Then we think like Strom is hot on his tail, but it turns out he's entered a fucking completely different building. And the first of two plot twists we get, really the major ones at the end, in typical Saw fashion. Strom walks in and fucking kills Jeff from Saw 3.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Because you see bits of like previously, you see bits of Jeff walking around, and I'm like, didn't this guy
yeah,
get blown up when his wife exploded or something?
random as
Like
fuck. Yeah, man. Yeah, Jeff is just randomly there. So then we get this twist where like Saw 3 and 4 are happening
at the same time.
concurrently.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. That blew my fucking mind though, because like it was shot so well. Like you think he's Strom's following him, and then what was it? Because this is still like, my second time seeing it because I have seen this plot twist before, but it got me again. I was like, because I was like the whole bit with Jeff confused me, and then I was like, oh shit, like this is happening at the same time. Like that was nuts. I'm not gonna lie, that was a good fucking plot twist.
Yeah.
It's good
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, it's hard for me. The thing with me is right with this plot twist is like I've watched this film many times, so now I'm just like, okay, I know it's happening, but I'm like, first couple times, I was so fucking confused because it's like it really confused me because I'm like trying to remember who Jack. Because like I said, I didn't watch these in order,
Oh well, that's your
and then
problem.
the second or third time I watched them, I did watch them in order, but I'm still like, I know this guy. Is that, and then I'm like, oh yeah, shit, it's Jeff, and then it's like, what the fuck, Strom is here, and then I'm like, oh shit, So I'm like, I don't know, just a little bit confusing for me the first few times, but I'm like, whatever. It is definitely
It
good.
is fucking good
Um,
if you know how to count to seven.
and then you get basically the final like plot twist of this film, which is, I mean, Rig is down. He shoots Art because Art is going to reach for something. He thinks it's a gun, so he fucking shoots Art in the face. And then you just see it's a tape. Rig
Yeah.
plays the tape, and then who the fuck is? And then it's like, yeah, and it's like revealing everything, right? And then who the fuck is standing over him? But Mark fucking Hoffman, who
Yeah,
we completely forgot about because we're so caught up in like Matthews and Art and
yeah.
Rig.
That's the thing I didn't get though. It's like I mean, supposedly Hoffman set himself up in this, but like,
Yeah.
so he would never have died regardless of. But
No.
what would have happened if like Matthews had tried to kill himself and then he's like tipped all the way over there, it doesn't electrocute him, and then they realize, hang on a minute, why aren't you dying?
Well, that's the thing. I think he must have anticipated all of that because everyone's so focused on Matthews, and they're just assuming because he does tip very near the water, and it's like no one really pays attention to him because he's just there, like. But it's
He's not
so
making any
fucking clever
noise.
because he's just sat there observing the whole thing, front row seat, man. Like,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he's
That's really cool
relatively
as well, to be
comfortable
fair.
compared to like John Kramer's front row seat in Saw One.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he's just there watching. He's there able to observe the whole thing.
Yeah, I know that's pretty cool
Very
because
cool.
like with John Kramer in his one, he was obviously meant to be playing dead the whole time. In Hoffman's, he's literally like pretending to be one of them, you know.
Yeah, very, very, very fucking cool, man. Love this plot twist. Hoffman obviously goes and he would get all the flashbacks and shit where he's like, oh, never to go through I always forget the word,
An unsecured door.
an unsecured door. It's time to let go.
Yeah, he's
All
like
of the
rushing
same.
through. You can't save everyone.
You can't save everyone exactly, man. So and then you get the saddest fucking faction, yeah. Hoffman, and this is the best game over since Saw One. He fucking is game over and then fucking closes the door, right? Um, but the film doesn't end on that exact moment because then he slams the fucking door, game over, and it's like, oh yeah, and it's so cool that Hoffman's saying it. He's got the voice and the presence to say it
Yeah.
like in like an impactful way. I'm like, yeah, that's sick. Um, and then he fucking slams the door, and then obviously he goes like where Strom is and closes that door, but without showing his face. So he fucking slams that door for not really much reason, but anyway, just
Yeah.
he closes that door as well.
Or to lock him into whatever next shit he's got to do.
Yeah, and then you get basically the final flashback, which is of the tape, and it fucking
Yeah.
rewinds, and then it's back to him listening to the tape, the same words, and it just has a completely different
Yeah,
meaning.
exactly. Because it's like it
Oh
turns out the
shit!
beginning of the
You
film
think you
is
walk away from this untested? Yeah, man. It's
oh, it's
like
so crazy because the beginning of the film is actually the end of the film, and you realize,
yeah,
shit, man, like
so good. It's
so
so
good.
fucking good, man.
But
Yeah,
that's
man.
literally the end. And then Hoffman's like, yeah, because he's like, you think you're in control, like, and it's just like Hoffman's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he shit himself. He's like, oh,
Yeah, 'cause I imagine like he like hopes the other surgeons aren't in the room listening on this.
yeah, yeah. He's like, you think
Oh,
you're
it's
away
like,
from
oh,
this
I really
untested? Yeah.
wonder. I wonder whose this is intended for. Can't be
Yeah,
me.
man. But it's so cleverly worded. This is what I really admire about these films. The wording is so on point that it's like, he's fucking hearing that shit. And at the beginning, even if there was someone around him, you'd be like, oh, okay, because it's never addressed to Detective Hoffman, or
Yeah,
even if it is, it's like, fucking. It's ambiguous enough to have that double meaning. So then when the plot twist happens, and then you rewatch it, gives it this rewatch value where you're like, oh shit.
yeah, exactly.
So it's very good, man. And there's a little bit where he walks out of the building, he's like, "Oh, no one survived, whatever." So yeah, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that
It's
I
Saw
think
4.
is Saw 4. So there we have it, Henry. Now we're going to rank the various elements within the Saw. I don't know why I've put away my notebook there because I will I will need them to
You
record
literally need it. Yeah.
all the traps. So okay, so the first thing we are going to
On the
rank.
itinerary. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get the fucking list up. Bear with me. Um, Here. So we're going to rank the trap first. So our current rankings: number 1, the rack trap; number 2, the wax trap from Saw 1; number 3, the Venus flytrap from Saw 2. The traps we have in Saw 4: the blind/mute trap, the hair trap, the fucking rapist trap, the spear trap, the Cecil trap, and I guess whatever fucking Matthews is in. But I don't know if that really. I mean, it counts, but it doesn't count.
Yeah.
And obviously, you got the shitty ones like Art Blank's neck trap and shit like that.
Yeah.
So let's just go with our top 3 for like traps. I think. So what would you say? I mean, I think the hair trap,
Hair trap, then the rapist trap, and then the what's the last one?
Cecil trap, the knife
Yeah,
face one.
yeah, that one you kind of you have an element of control over it, so to say. Like, well, not like you can maybe see if you can strike your way out. Like, I'll push like with this side of my face to get that side open, and then this side. You can sacrifice your chin a bit, or your
Yeah,
forehead if you got a big enough
yeah,
one,
yeah.
or so on and so forth. I,
Yeah, that's true. Or would you rather be
being
in that
Matthews
one?
in this
I
was
think we're agreed on the hair trap and the rapist trap being the worst ones, but what about the spear trap?
yeah. Well, it depends what side of the spear trap you're on.
Well, let's assume you're on the wife's
The
side.
wife side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fucked. But is that worse than being Matthews in this film?
No.
Yeah, I'll just say the Matthews experience is an entire trap.
Yeah. And the fact that he's hanging, like he's constantly probably about to die because he's like can't breathe properly, and he's fucking like skidding on this ice. He's bare. One of his feet is barefoot on the ice as well. That's not going to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah, he
really
hasn't had a
raw
good
fucking
diet in the
deal,
last
man.
6 months.
I'd
But to be fair,
say,
his aim game is still on, so
yep, yeah. So I think the worst trap, it's
it's got to
between
be
the
the
hair
hair
trap
one.
and the rapist trap. I think because they're both really bad.
Yeah, but the hair one's slower, man, and more painful. I think
Mm,
the rapist one, you definitely like die of shock or something. Because like he's not moving after that. He's like just fucking
the
dead.
thing is, you can recover from the hair trap, and you know what? I spoke about this at the beginning where I'm like, yeah, the hair trap's the worst one, but actually now I'm thinking about it, the rapist trap is fucking terrible because best case scenario, your eyes have fucking been dug out, mate. You know that's fucking painful and fucked up.
Well, the hair
Um,
trap is one of those ones where, well, and also says the rapist one, where you're relying on someone else to save you.
yeah,
Actually, all of
exactly.
these are. The worst trap's the ones where you're relying on someone else to save you, where you have no control over it.
Yeah.
I know.
So which one do you think's? Well, I think now that I think about it, I actually I'm gonna change my mind. I think rapist trap's the worst one.
Yeah, imagine you think of a better name for it than the rapist trap.
What then? The eye spike trap or something? The
Yeah,
limbs trap?
the torso trap, the limbs ripping from
The
the
nugget trap?
the nugget trap.
I don't know. I think it's easiest to remember it by the rapist trap. I know it sounds bad, but fuck it. That's what it is. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's the best trap. It's the worst trap is in you don't want to be in it. It's the best trap to. It's satisfying. This guy fucking
true.
deserved it, man.
Um, although the hair trap is a very very close second, I think. But I think because the worst case scenario that is your head gets ripped off and you could probably survive that. Although
Blood loss
man, they are
otherwise. I don't
both
know.
bad, aren't they?
Yeah, well, you're gonna get a hair. I don't know how that's. Anyway,
This is tough. What do you reckon? Which one's worse?
I think the hair trap will go like. Yeah, I think you agree with the close second on the hair trap.
All right. So then, how are we going to rank the rapist trap up against the rack trap and the wax trap and the Venus fly trap? Tough. I think second
I'll
though.
probably put it second because the wax trap, despite how basically impossible it is, you have still an element of control over it again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm going to put rapist trap second behind the rack trap.
Mhm.
I think that's fair, man. That's a really bad one. And but I don't think we'll ever attack the rack trap, man.
The
That's
rack trap, man.
sick. That's sick, mate.
Because it's like, at least with the rapist one, it's all four limbs at once. That one is, it's each limb
Oh.
one by one,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
funny
your
because they're
head.
both similar in a way because each of your limbs are being fucked up. But yeah, man. Okay. Ending. So the plot twists in this one compared to the one in Saw 1, which we have first. Number 2, Saw 2, which is the reveal that okay, it's not a live stream. It's not a live stream. And then number
And that his
3,
son is in a safe place.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then number 3 is third. So where are we putting Hoffman being revealed as the villain and that it's happening at the same time as Saw 3?
I'd say either it has to be either second or first. Like there's a very fucking good one, I
I
think.
think second. You cannot top fucking the
John
guy
Kramer
raising
rising
from the
from the
dead in the
dead.
middle.
Yeah, it's
So I'll
definitely.
put it second. I'll go along with
It's
that.
very, it's yeah, but again, like we said, it's similar in that Hoffman's kind of pulling a jigsaw where he's like, "Oh, I'm actually in the midst of the trap the whole time."
Yeah, true, true, true. Yeah, it is similar. There are echoes of like previous films as well in Saw One because in that one you have the guys chasing them down and stuff. Or you had what's his name? The guy who's
Yeah, it was literally Matthews going
similar.
through it.
Yeah,
You
that's
expect
right. That's it, Matthews. Yeah,
you
so you
expect
have
yeah,
that
it's
as
like
well.
because it's you got
Matthews and Strom, doing that. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think second. This is very good, and you got two very big plot twists. I think Hoffman's not that surprising, but it's still like the way they reveal it is very cool.
Yeah, and he gets to say game over. So
yeah. Okay, Sigma quote number 1, the voicemail from Saw 2. Number 2, Amanda. I've put Amanda's balls here in Saw 3 because she basically lets
literally
the
that
nurse
whole bit.
give her a chance of killing her. And number 3, apathetic but mostly pathetic from Saw 1. So, what are we going with? I think when he turns down the hooker.
Yeah, there's the one where he says like, "I don't have a fucking soul," and he's like, "Maybe in the next life you will see soul." But that's just like
Yeah.
a comeback. The rejecting the hoe one, that was like proper like
Yeah.
archetypal Sigma male shit there.
So where are we
Um,
going to put it?
I'd also like to give a shout
Yeah.
the bit where he just he's just refusing to help the poor with their housing just for no reason. Other
Well,
than that,
not for no reason, but yeah.
I'm depressed.
I would rank the turning down the prostitute. I'd put that second, below the voicemail and above Amanda.
Yeah. Put a second. That is very like literally Sigma though. Like
Yeah.
John Kramer rejects a hoe.
Yep. Let me just put that there. And finally, the film itself. So far, we have number 1, Saw, number 2, Saw 3, and number 3, Saw 2. Where are we going to put Saw 4, Henry?
I've got to say I'd have to put it second or first because it was very fucking good.
First. That's a big call.
Yeah,
But oh,
it's very good.
I was
That's the
thinking,
thing.
yeah,
It's like
second's a good place for this. But now you're challenging me on putting it first. That might not be a bad shout. You got a great bunch of traps. You got a good story. You got good plot twists. You
all
get a lot of
there's like
character
phenomenal
development.
acting throughout as well.
Yeah, good character development with John Kramer and with Hoffman.
You get a lot more John Kramer in this than I remembered.
Yeah,
Because you assume, oh, he's dead, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is just that little bit kind of in the second sort of third of the film where it's like the whole Perez Billy the puppet thing. That is a little bit like dodgy for me. But that's pretty much it. To
Yeah,
be
but then
fair.
you've also that's like similar to when I forgot what the detective's partner was in the previous one. It's always the partner who gets fucking killed. He just
Yeah,
gets
man.
shot from a shotgun trap. That was bullshit. It's like the same thing, you know.
Okay, so I'll go with that. We'll put this first.
Yeah,
Saw
this
4
is like a
going
very
at
good.
number 1.
Another thing that's nice, it doesn't wait. It's not like oh long runtime is bad, but this does not waste any time whatsoever.
Oh,
It's 90 minutes, literally like the 90-minute timer in it. Like
no mucking around. Yeah,
I mean,
appreciate
no
that.
messing around here.
Okay, so we have a new number 1, Saw
Mhm.
4, and then number 2, Saw. Number 3, Saw 3, and number 4, Saw 2. Not confusing at all.
Hmm.
So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Now next week we're going to do Saw 5, which is
Your
I'm
favorite?
looking forward to it. I really like Saw 5. So that's more or less it, Henry. Last word from you.
Cherish your life.
Cherish your life. Wise words indeed. So spread the word about this incredible podcast and follow us on what have we got now? Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Okay, I'm about to shit myself. So
Get that other outtake.